First at 5. From the University of Florida's College of Journalism and Communications, you're watching WUFT News.
It's the grand finale of the Republican National Convention as we take a live look at the site in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. The day is building up to former President Trump's big speech at a pivotal moment for the country. The former president will formally accept his party's nomination for president tonight. This is WFT's First at 5. I'm Charlize Ramos.
And I'm Tatyana White. His speech is highly anticipated nearly 1 week after his assassination attempt. WFT's Harrison Hove spoke with Florida delegates about what they hope to hear during tonight's speech.
Former President Donald Trump takes the main stage tonight. It'll be the first time speaking to a large audience since Saturday's assassination attempt. Florida delegate Linda Trostine hopes Trump's words will bring people together.
I know President Trump's going to deliver a unifying message for America, for working class people, for every one of Americans. We need to hear that.
Orange County GOP Chair and Delegate Aaron Huntley hopes the speech paints a picture of the possible with an emphasis on inspiration and motivation.
I hope to hear him speak about the American dream. We have a lot of candidates and a lot of everyday Americans and elected officials who've spoken over the past few days. And I expect that to culminate with him and showing that the American dream is live and well, and electing him will make sure that the future generations have it for them as well.
Florida Delegate Brian Henley might think unity and inspiration is important, but he's also listening for specifics about Trump's policies in a second term.
I hope to hear about his bold new vision for what he's going to do in his second term, laying out the details and the specifics. I'm excited about that.
Insiders say the speech will likely feature a subdued, less adversarial tone. In Milwaukee, Harrison Hove, WUFT News.
Polls show the Republican Party is seeing an increase in support from Hispanic voters. WUFT's Alex Land is live from Milwaukee with why Florida GOP leaders think they are gaining ground with this group.
Historically, Hispanics tend to vote Democrat in presidential elections. Florida delegates and lawmakers believe this shift is occurring because Republicans have effectively set up Democratic policy to look like socialism. The Republican Party has been gaining momentum with a historically Democratic group, Hispanic voters.
Hispanic voters left, a lot of them have left countries that were tyrannical. They were socialists, darn near communists. They came here for freedom and opportunity. They didn't come here for what they left behind. And that's why they're moving faster than any other minority group towards Donald Trump and the Republican Party.
A recent New York Times poll shows former President Donald Trump edging out President Biden with 46% support compared to Biden's 40%. That would be a more than 30-point swing toward Trump from 2020. Recent Siena and Pew Research Center polls have featured similar results. Florida Senator Marco Rubio says many Hispanic voters stand by Donald Trump because of his focus on economic freedom.
I think it's particularly pronounced in people that understand what life is like in other countries, because they're like, I know how it is in other places. What we have here is special. It's worth keeping and fighting for.
Some Florida delegates say they were surprised Senator Rubio wasn't Trump's VP pick because of his appeal to Hispanic voters. However, Florida State Senator Ileana Garcia thinks it makes little difference. She says Hispanic voters are trending the same direction as other demographic groups because of the campaign's messaging.
It doesn't matter the language, doesn't matter the background. What's relevant here is what we want moving forward. We want God, country, family, freedom.
Senator Rubio also told me that Hispanic voters are focusing less on identity politics. Instead of voting based off of their ethnicity, they're focusing on other issues like safety and economic growth. Reporting live in Milwaukee, Alex Land, WUFT News.
Ahead of Donald Trump officially accepting the Republican nomination tonight, Florida Democrats hosted a press call today to highlight what they believe are potential dangers of this GOP ticket. I heard from Florida Democratic Party Chair Nikki Fried on her concerns for Project 2025.
Project 2025 also limits access to contraception and criminalizes medication abortion, the most common form of abortion care in the United States.
The call also featured remarks from State Senator-elect Carlos Guillermo-Smith and former Orange Osceola County State Attorney Monique Worrell and their opinions of the Trump-Vance ticket.
President Biden is back in Delaware today. This comes after his announcement that he is positive for COVID. The president will self-isolate while in Delaware and continue to carry out his full duties. His physician confirms that his symptoms are mild and he has not shown signs of a fever. The announcement came just moments before he was scheduled to address a major Latino voter event in Las Vegas.
After the president's COVID diagnosis, pressure continues to mount for President Biden to step aside. Democrats are quietly considering whether he can win, but Republicans are confident they will hold the presidency. Let's get right out to WFT's Kirsten Maselka live at the RNC. Kirsten, you spoke to Florida Republicans about where they believe things stand in the race.
New reporting from the Associated Press says former President Obama and former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi are privately urging President Biden to reconsider his 2024 campaign. Now, I got the chance to speak with Florida Republican lawmakers, and they told me what they think of Biden's chances, as well as what they think about the potential for Donald Trump to be facing a new candidate in November.
He's not fit to lead, but I do think if the Democrats want to go down this road, I think that's the best possible scenarios for Republicans. And so I hope he sticks it out.
Their entire framework is really crumbling under their feet. So Kamala Harris, Gretchen Whitmer, Gavin Newsom, it doesn't matter. Bring them on. Bring any one of them. We're still going to win.
Now, as you can tell, both Governor DeSantis and Congressman Donalds are very confident about Donald Trump's chances in November, whether the candidate is Biden or a different Democratic Party member. Reporting live in Milwaukee at the RNC, Kirsten Maselka, WUFT News.
Heat and showers. That's the story for the next few days as North Central Florida continues to average highs in the 90s. Let's get right over to UF forecaster Reuben Roberts tracking the next round of showers.
Thank you. I have a current outlook on the storm tracker. As of right now, cities like Jacksonville are currently going through it. They're seeing some level of storms, but as you can see, most of the cities in North Florida aren't seeing much rainfall. That's set to change as we take a look on campus. You'll look around, mostly blue skies, not much rainfall. There is a chance that it could rain tonight, but let's take a look at the temperatures. Abnormal. Take a look at Lake City, only 82 degrees, and the cities around Lake City are at mid to low, maybe even high 80s, but Gainesville's at 90. The reason is there was rainfall earlier, so that naturally dropped the temperature of those cities, but even the cities along the coast like St. Augustine aren't getting much benefit from their coastal weather. Now let's take a look at the hourly. At 85 degrees, there's a chance for rain. I wouldn't rule it out, but the chances of storming happening isn't likely. 85 is going to steadily decrease as the night goes on, and the chances of a rainfall happening just aren't likely. Now, coming up, I'll have more for you as it's going to be staying steamy, rounds of storms, and tranquil tropics.
A Florida food nonprofit organization is distributing items to food insecure Floridians in the Gainesville area. Recipients will receive fresh produce and non-perishable canned goods from Farm Share Food Bank. Distributions will be drive-through only to minimize contact and to ensure the safety of everyone. Attendees must arrive in a vehicle with a trunk or cargo bed. The food drive will be held this Saturday, July 20th at 9 a.m. on Southeast 15th Street. Children in Gainesville can enjoy the city's Summer Youth Celebration happening next week. There will be performance by Wayani and special guest appearance by actor Wendell Pierce. The event will include food trucks, music, dance, theater, spoken word, and art. The winners of the Apollo Talent Search will also be announced. For those who are interested in attending, please bring your own chair. The free event is Saturday, July 27th at Depot Park. Festivities kick off at 6.
A summer camp program in Gainesville is getting national recognition. This morning's Harambe energized summer scholars at PK Young. They chant positive messages to start each day. 80 students are taking part in the Akwamba Freedom School program. The Children's Trust of Alachua sponsors the program, which just won a national award. The focus is on growing reading skills over the summer.
Teach them how to fall in love with reading. So we don't teach them the mechanics of readings like grammar and stuff, but we teach them how to fall in love with reading. So through them seeing books, with people that look like them, their skin color, their hair, whatever it may be.
Today's Circuit Judge Mayshawn Rawls read a book to the scholars and sang with the kids. The program, now in its 3rd year, is free for those selected and has a goal of building 100% literacy skills. Coming up next, when First at 5 returns, the NBA family mourning the loss of one of their own. How Pat Williams went from businessman to bringing another franchise to the state of Florida.
And hundreds of Americans are getting their student loans wiped out. What they're doing that was once believed to be impossible. We'll explain after the break.
You're watching WUFT-TV News.
Welcome back. The number of people asking bankruptcy courts to discharge their student loans is increasing. Nearly 600 people made the request between October and March, which is a 36% increase from the previous 6 months. Department of Justice data shows that nearly all of those cases, 98%, were successful in either fully or partially canceling student debt. It's because of the federal guidance from 2022 that makes it much easier for bankruptcy courts to do so. Before that, student loans were among the most difficult debts for bankruptcy judges to discharge.
Sports fans are mourning the death of the Orlando Magic co-founder Pat Williams. Williams died Wednesday from complications related to viral pneumonia. He started as a business manager for the Philadelphia 76ers in 1968 and helped them win a title in 1983. Williams then went on to also be a general manager for the Chicago Bulls and the Atlanta Hawks. Pat Williams was 84 and is survived by his wife Ruth and their 19 children.
As alligators are becoming more active as temperatures rise in Florida, the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission are sharing some safety tips for neighbors. Wildlife officers say avoid walking pets near bodies of water and always keep them on a leash at least 10 feet away from the water's edge. Only swim in designated areas and avoid swimming at night. That's when gators are most active. If you see a gator posing a threat to humans, pets, or property, report the nuisance gator to the FWC hotline at 866-FWC-GATOR.
Taking a look at the weather, currently Jacksonville is seeing most of the storms. Most of the cities in North Florida aren't seeing storms, but we'll see as the weekend goes on. I'll have more for you after the break.
You're watching WUFT-TV News.
Taking a current look on campus, right now blue skies, 92-degree weather, but it feels like 102. I can back this as walking around campus I had a face full of sweat. But now let's take a look at how it feels around Florida. As you can see, it feels like it's 107 degrees for Ocala, which is the high, but in Gainesville, the campus is reflective. It feels like it's 103-degree weather. Most of the cities in North Florida feel like they're over 100-degree weather. Now, let's take a look at the actual temperatures. As mentioned, Lake City is the odd man out at 84 degrees, and most of the cities around Lake City are in the high 80s, but most of the cities around Florida North Florida are in the low 90s. That's due to the rainfall that came through and affected the temperature. Now, taking a look at this current storm tracker, even though the rainfall did somewhat affect North Florida, right now there's not much rainfall, but Jacksonville is taking the blunt of it as there are some storms. Now, let's take a look at a future tracker for tonight. Not much should be coming. It's more so going towards the coast, so it shouldn't be affecting North Florida. Even Jacksonville somewhat clears up. Now, let's take a look at the droughtness. It's actually being welcomed. As you can see, it's abnormally dry as of July 16th in North Florida, but the cities closer to Jacksonville and a little bit closer to Gainesville are moderate droughts. Now, all of the cities and states being affected by this are going to be seeing rainfall come tomorrow, or there's a chance that they could be seeing rainfall come tomorrow. So Tallahassee, Jacksonville, North Florida, Gainesville, Alabama, Georgia, there's a chance they could be seeing this. This satellite and radar is giving you a current outlook. As you can see, most of North Florida is uncovered, but Jacksonville is seeing a blunt of it. More so towards New Orleans, they're seeing some level of rain. Now, let's take a look at a future tracker. This weekend, prepare yourself as there is a good chance of rainfall happening all weekend. Friday is the main culprit. As you can see, most of Jacksonville and Gainesville is being covered, but as Saturday comes through, storms just continue to come through. And then Sunday, storms just continue to come through. This is reflective as from now till next Wednesday, there's a chance, there is going to be about 1 inch to 2 inches of rainfall affecting North Florida, but tomorrow it should be around 70 early in the morning, and then towards as the storms come through. And then taking a look at the 7-day outlook, it's going to be mostly 90-degree weather with a chance of storms.
Hopefully rain won't affect a former Gator legend's final pro track meet tomorrow. Coming up, multiple former Gators, including Christian Taylor, are competing in the Holloway Pro Classic in Gainesville.
You're watching WUFT-TV News.
Welcome into sports. I'm Ben McLeish. Tomorrow, some of the most prolific track stars in the world will be in Gainesville for the Holloway Pro Classic, including some Gator greats. One of the Gators participating is 2024 triple jump champion Jasmine Moore. Moore is heading to Paris this month to compete for USA in the Olympics. She became the first American woman to compete in both the triple jump and long jump in the same year. Moore said she's proud to be the first to accomplish the feat.
It's really an honor, and yeah, it's been my goal all year, so to finally just put it together at Charlize was super exciting, and yeah, I'm just really excited, really thankful to have the opportunity to do both.
Also competing in Holloway Pro Classic is Kirsten Taylor, former Gator and two-time Olympic gold medalist. After a dominant 17-year career, Taylor will officially retire after tomorrow's competition. He said he couldn't think of any better way to finish his pro career.
You know that you're going to retire at one point of your career. You know that sports is really your one injury away. And so sometimes you get to go out by choice, and sometimes it takes you out. I always fought to say I wanted to go out on my own terms, and what better way than ATL, right?
The Holloway Pro Classic begins tomorrow at 5 p.m. With just over 1 month until the return of Gator football, SEC Media Days officially wrapped up today. After back-to-back losing seasons, the Gators will be under pressure to succeed in 2024, but they'll have to battle the toughest schedule in the country. Yesterday, head coach Billy Napier and several Gator athletes talked about their expectations for the upcoming season. Starting quarterback Graham Mertz says this year's team is cohesive and focused on one thing above all else: winning.
This team we got right now, they're passionate, they care about each other, they want to win, and they're fully bought into not only just the scheme, but also Coach Napier's vision for what this team should be.
Mertz and the Gators kick off the season in the Swamp on August 31st against the Miami Hurricanes. Let's head over to the Green, where the British Open began this morning. Two former Gators are representing the orange and blue in the tournament. Billy Horschel finished the day at +1, while Sam Horsfield finished +4. Daniel Brown leads the field after day one, shooting -6, while Shane Lowry sits close behind with -5. The tournament is set to wrap up on Sunday. Before we go, one last check on the weather.
Okay, so a 7-day outlook. Most of the temperatures, the normal temperatures, the lows will be about 72, the high is getting about 91. That's normal for Florida. We're used to seeing 90-degree weather. But looking at the weekend going into next Wednesday, the chances of storms are high.
Thanks for joining us. We're back here tomorrow for another edition of First at 5.
But your North Central Florida news is always on at WUFT.org and on all our social media platforms. Have a good night.